before we do that, I want to do the pre-checks. Is that okay? I want to check that we have a clean, clear response from your body. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Good. So I'm going to take this arm here, I'm going to hold it up like this, and I'm going to ask you, when I say push, I want you to say push. Are you ready? And I want you to hold up your arm against my pressure. Is that okay? It'll be a gentle pressure. So, ready? Okay, say push. Good. Now I'm going to pinch the muscle once, which is the anterior deltoid. The muscle we're playing with is just here at the front. It's called the anterior deltoid because it's at the front. I'll just pinch it and say push. And that helps to give me an indication that when I do that, the muscle switches off. When I stretch it back again, hold and say push, it holds in position. That's fantastic. Now I want to check the two arms for electrical balance. And perfect. That's a perfect response. Now I'm going to zip you down like this, okay, from your lip down towards your belly button, and hold and say push. And that switches you off, and zipping you back up like this, hold and say push. Good. I'm going to check your hydration by holding a piece of hair and say push, and it's hold, push, it's holding. Perfect. Now I want to check for visual inhibition. So I'm just going to hold here, just under your eye, push. I'm going to check here, just on your neck muscles, on your chest, just there, and say push. And that's perfect. Okay, and one final check. We're going to check down here, bend your elbow please, till I get the right place, and it's just here at the side, and hold and say push, and that checks whether or not you have enough energy to go forward and how integrated your brain is left and right hand side. We're now ready to do the 14 muscles. Is that okay? Great. So the first muscle we want to check is the supraspinatus. So we're going to hold the hands here like this, and I'm going to push them towards your center, towards your belly button. Ready? And say push. Now I've just checked the two at the same time. I'm going to check them individually. Hold and say push. Good. And say push. Good. Now I want to check this muscle here. And hold and say push. Good. And okay, if you can, that's it, lovely. And say push. Excellent. Now we're checking the pectoralis major, clavicular. Let your arm down, okay? Hold, and I'm going to push it in that direction. Hold and say push. Good, excellent. And push, excellent. The next muscle we're going to work with is the latissimus dorsi, which is turn your hand into the side like this, and I'm going to push it out and up. My direction will be up towards this hand here. Ready? Keep your elbows straight and lock it into your body. Hold and say push. Good. And lock and say push. Excellent. Well done. Now, the next muscle we're working with is the subscapularis, which is a muscle. I'm going to leave your arm, or we'll do this one here first. Okay? And the arm and the shoulder are more or less level with each other. Let your hand go back a little bit more, okay? I'm going to be putting it forward like this, and you're going to stop me. You're going to resist me. So say push, excellent. Do the same on this side, and hold and say push, and you can relax both hands now. The next one we're going to check is the small intestine. So the meridian is the small intestine, and the muscle we're dealing with is the quadriceps, which has 4 heads on the upper part of your thigh, and it stretches from your hip down to your knee. I'm going to put a hand here and here. So breathe in and say push. Excellent. And breathe in, and I'm pressing down here and pressing down here, and say push, and that's perfect. Now, what we've done so far is we have done the small intestine. The next one we're going to deal with is the peroneus. The peroneus is a muscle, and basically I'm just going to work with your foot here. The foot is rotated outwards. I'm going to push up against your little toe, and I'm going to attempt to rotate your foot in. You're going to resist me. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Ready? And say push. and that's holding perfectly. Hold it and breathe in and say push, and that's perfect also. So now we've done the peroneus, we're going now to check a muscle called the psoas. And the psoas connects from your lower back into the inside of your hip, just here. And it's often you recognise that it's out in somebody because they have difficulty getting off the chair without putting their hands on their knees. They have to assist themselves to stand up from a sitting position. So I want the foot to point outwards like that, so it's pointing away from your body, and I'm going to put pressure to push the leg down and away like this. Hold and say push, and that's holding perfectly. And this one here, and hold and say push. Good. Excellent. So we've done the psoas. The next muscle we're going to work with is the gluteus medius. Now the gluteus medius, I simply take one leg to the side like this, and I will attempt to push it to the center. You will resist me while you're saying push. Say push. Good. And say push. Good. Excellent. Well done. Now, the next muscle we want to work with is we want to work with the triple warmer. So we'll work with this arm over here first. And what we want to do is we want to get it so that it's just approximately your fist width out from your body. Let your arm rotate backwards a little bit more and down like this. I'm going to bring your arm so that it lands on your chest. Hold and say push, and you resist it. And we do the same here and say push. Excellent. Now, our next muscle is the anterior deltoid, which we checked previously. So we've checked it already, but we're going to check it again in the context of the balance. Hold and say push, and say push. Excellent. Now, the next muscle we want to work with is the pectoralis major sternal. So the thumb is pointing down, and I'm going to be pushing the arm towards my hand up here. Hold and say push, and hold, and breathe in, and say push. Okay, perfect. That was the pectoralis major sternal. Now we're going to check another muscle called the anterior serratus. So this end, the thumb is pointing up, the fingers are straight, the elbow is straight. I have to get my arm under my fingers on here on the muscle. There you go. And hold and say push. Excellent. And hold and say push. Excellent. Well done. And we are now in a position where we can actually check the final muscle, which is the hold and say push. Good. And hold. Turn the foot in more and say push. Excellent. Well done. We've just checked the 14 muscles, and that's it. Okay. So thank you.